Well, Superman has Krypto and I have Simba. He doesn't want to be here. But I did have fun with this movie, although it is a bit woke sometimes. Welcome guys, welcome to Buddies and Blockbusters. As you know, I'm your host AJ, and we're here to review the one and only Superman, or James Gunn's Superman. And you got a glimpse of Simba, that's my boy, and since we have a lot of Krypto, I thought it was fitting to have him here. So right at the back, I had kind of two expectations about this movie. Like one, just like most of you, I was skeptical about it's a new guy filling in the shoes of Superman, and as a guy who loved Henry Cavill, I was a bit, I wasn't sure. And two was it's James Gunn. I love his work from the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, but there's always two sides of it, right? One, you get awesome kind of storytelling and his puns and stuff like that, but also it's that comedic component that's always added in, and sometimes it's a bit too much, and sometimes it kind of puts down a serious kind of tone. And this movie kind of answered both my expectations. And let's start off with the main one, which is David Corenswet being the new Superman. Honestly, he did a great job. Whatever he brought to the table, it fit well with the character, because it's a bit different compared to what we've seen with Henry Cavill and the other folks who play Superman. This was more relatable, if that's right to say. It was more grounded in terms of, okay, he has this human touch where we can connect with this character, compared to when we think of Superman, he's like, oh, he's the god and he's so powerful. But this, although he's all of that, it showcased a lot of stuff where you can clearly see how strong he is, but it's also, he's brought down to earth. I mean, no pun intended, he's in earth now. And that was good to see, because that's something that was at least fresh in my mind. And I think he fit the role well, whether it's the dialogue delivery, the emotions, the comedic puns here and there. I think he owned it. At least in my mind, in my opinion, he answered all the critics and the skepticism that was around this character. This is definitely kind of a welcome addition to this role, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do well in the upcoming movies and stuff like that. And the second piece, it was that James Gunn component, just like you predicted. You're going to get the flavor of, yes, the Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, and yes, you're going to love his way of storytelling, but there's also that component of comedic puns, which is a bit too much. Mainly when there is these serious scenes, you're in the moment, right? You're locked in, and Superman, he's delivering the speech, and it goes all the way. And I feel James Gunn has this allergic reaction of, oh, whoa, 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 that's too serious. The audience can't take it. Let's dim it down, and boom, put in a comedic pun. And this is just my opinion. That ruins that whole build up to that scene, because there's a couple of speeches that Superman gives, and then it ends up with this pun at the end. I feel that was not needed, but hey, that's what you get in a James Gunn movie. Outside of that, I truly believe the cast did a great job with their characters. It was more or less good casting for those characters, including Lois Lane. Rachel Brosnahan plays Lois Lane, did a great job. And there's a couple of scenes that I didn't know it was from the comic, but I went and watched the movie with my work colleagues, Gavin and Don, and Gavin was like, hey, that's exactly from the comics. You have that piece going, and he did a great job in fitting into the character. Same thing goes to Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult. He did a great job as well, mainly being this intelligent guy who's so obsessed with the downfall of Superman, but also being kind of a badass and this menacing. The cliche villain is what you're going to get with Lex in this movie, but I honestly wanted to see more, mainly around he has studied Superman to the dot. He knows his every move and all that stuff, the calculations. I would be interested in a kind of a spin-off series just to see the evolution of how Lex got to where he is in this movie, because I think that's an interesting take, as what you get in the movie is, yes, glimpses, and you can't put in everything in the movie, but it's more about, hey, I'm going to be this cliche villain, the menacing maniac that hates Superman, and will go into extreme lengths to take this guy down and nearly kill him. And we have another group called the JusticeGang. Interesting. Kind of a combination of three characters. We have Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl. I'll be honest, Hawkgirl, she comes in, that's it. Thank you. I really like what Mr. Terrific did in terms of his character and what he was capable of. Whatever tech that he had and the dialogues and this cool attitude that he brings was perfect. Green Lantern, I mean, his attitude to the character was pretty cool, because you need a comedic douche and he fits in pretty well. So, like I said, the cast did a phenomenal job, and that's why it stood out to me. When you go into the story, I don't think you guys should go with the expectation that the storyline is the main thing. No, it's more about, is David filling in the Superman role, and is he doing a great job as the character? And how does this new Superman franchise under James Gunn, and where is that going? Right? Because the story, one, it's predictable. Two, they go into the social vibe in a way which I don't kind of agree, because there is a couple of, real life scenarios that they try to bake in based on what's happening right now. Plus, it has a couple of wokeisms there, which those are the components and buckets that I didn't like and I wasn't a fan of. But hey, I didn't go for the story. Just have that mindset and go in, because if you do, you're going to have fun with this movie. But if you have the expectation that, oh, the storyline needs to be next level, no, you're going to be disappointed. And there's a reason why there's a lot of negative comments and reviews on this movie. It's mainly because of that. And just the look and feel is also great. Yes, there's a couple of CGI elements, which is okay. It's getting a bit corny, mainly when you go into the dimensions, and that is part of the storyline. I don't want to spoil much of that. But there's a couple of cinematic shots of whether it's Superman or fight scenes, and those flows and the camera angles of those shots, spot on. And that's what you get from a James Gunn movie, and he nails it in those pieces. But again, you're going to get those comedic puns, which is going to ruin a couple of scenes. That's the only kind of negative, aside from the storyline, is what I felt for this movie. And Don and we had the same components. Like, okay, the comedy and the fun stuff is a bit too much for a Superman movie. But Gavin, on the other hand, he actually enjoyed that, because DC is not known for the colorful, fun vibes. It's always dark, and he was actually happy to see that, which is a good take. I mean, I agree with that piece, but to me, it was a bit too much in my eyes, but nothing to put down the movie at all. I still had a good time. I love the characters that was showcased. And if you're a DC fan, you should definitely go and experience this in the theater, and just the normal audience as well. You're getting a new Superman, and I think David did a kick-ass job in nailing the role. So, for the folks who watch Superman, what did you guys think? And where do you rank this Superman across all the other series? Do you still miss Henry Cavill? Let me know in the comments, and as always, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and share.